This is Mike from fearshop.com. Make sure you like this video and leave your comments. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to set up notifications so you know when the next video drops. Now let's get into it. Today we're talking about the top 10 greatest horror ghost story movies of all time. If you're looking for some paranormal movies to haunt you, check out this top 10 list along with some honorable mentions guaranteed to send shivers up your spine. For the record, I'm not going to be talking about possession movies, so you're not going to see films like The Exorcist, The Omen, or similar movies on this list. Before we get into it, let's have a look at some of the honorable mentions. The Changeling from 1980. In The Changeling, a recent widower, George C. Scott, moves into a spooky old house that turns out to be haunted. The ghost is a young, sickly boy whose wheelchair and ball produce some classic scares as the man struggles to understand the tragic mystery behind the boy's death. The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense from 1999 generates its scares by putting you in the position of a helpless child who discovers there really are monsters in his closet and under his bed and hanging from his ceiling. The film's now famous "I see dead people" line and well-worn twist ending make people forget how many terrifying moments are packed into its 107 minutes. Next up is The Ring from 2002. Perhaps the only Hollywood remake of an Asian horror movie to improve upon the original. The Ring features haunting, jaw-dropping visuals. The movie introduced Americans to the Yurei ghost figure that would go on to be featured in dozens of ancient horror films. Next up is The Devil's Backbone from 2001. The magic of Guillermo del Toro's filmmaking is an ability to mix terror and wonder in a way that heightens both emotions. Set during the Spanish Civil War, The Devil's Backbone story is told from the perspective of Carlos, played by Fernando Tielf, a 12-year-old boy who is a new arrival at an ominous orphanage after his father was killed in the war. Carlos, haunted by visions of a mysterious apparition, tries to piece together the mystery of what happened the night a bomb hit the orphanage courtyard and a young boy who now haunts the house was killed. The film is more unsettling, creepy, than edge-of-your-seat scary, revealing the true horror is being a child during wartime. Del Toro has called The Devil's Backbone his most personal film. Next up is the Amityville Horror from 1979. This iconic haunted house flick was savaged by critics, but despite some over-the-top acting, it stands up well to classic supernatural fare like The Omen and The Shining. The film is aided in its eerie, moaning children's chorus score and spooky visuals, including bleeding walls. Alright, let's get into the top 10 list, and it's going to start it off with number 10, Stir of Echoes from 1999. Stir of Echoes is a supernatural horror thriller released in the US in 1999, starring Kevin Bacon and directed by David Kopp. The film is loosely based on the novel A Stir of Echoes by Richard Matheson. This will forever be compared to The Sixth Sense, but for my money, Stir of Echoes is a better film. Number 9, Paranormal Activity from 2009. The found footage films in the Paranormal Activity series use recovered footage to document the haunting of suburban couples by an evil presence. The plots are minimal, but the visceral scares are potent, at least. The first film was very original. Part 3 is decent as well, but the original is definitely something special. I remember going to see it in the theater and then basically wanted to go right back the next day, taking friends with me. Number 8 is Conjuring 2 from 2016. Conjuring 2 is an old school horror based on a real life incident. A single mother with distressed children, poor, no dad, helpless and downright depressing, lives in Enfield, London, witnesses the presence of an evil spirit in their house. They contact paranormal investigators, couple Ed and Lorraine Warren, to help. Later, it's revealed that the spirit of the old man is manipulated by a demon that's more powerful and wants something more sinister from Lorraine. The same demonic entity in Conjuring 2 has appeared in a prequel of the movie, released as The Nun in 2018, but the level of scariness Conjuring 2 as a haunted house movie offers is far superior. Director James Wan brings us a masterpiece, which surely deserves a spot on this list. Number 7 is Hereditary from 2018. Hereditary is a movie that pushes the limits of what terror is. Its story is about a dysfunctional family dealing with the death of a member and lets the audience watch these individuals gradually crumble as grief overtakes them. If you're going into this movie expecting it should be a typical horror movie, you're going to be shocked. The movie gets your attention right from the opening shot. The last 15 to 20 minutes of the film gets very serious. Number 6, The Conjuring from 2013. The Conjuring is a haunted house pick in the classic tradition of the Amityville Horror, the haunting and the innocence. It's a low-key fright flick focused on atmosphere more than dazzling effects or blood and guts. Number 5, Session 9 from 2001. It's debatable what exactly the presence is in this movie ghost, or something else, but whatever it is, it's downright creepy. A group of workers encounters the malevolent force while they are cleaning up asbestos in an abandoned mental hospital. One of the workers begins listening to audio tapes of psychiatric sessions with a former patient, and by the time he gets to session number 9, every hair on your body is going to be standing on end. Number 4, Poltergeist from 1982. What can you say about the film series that itself is cursed while filming? Known as the Poltergeist Curse, it's a scourge that's linked to the horror film series Poltergeist. In many variants of the urban legends, all the cast members pass, while others claim 3 real-life deaths because of the curse. In reality, just 4 of the actors died. 2 passed on startingly, while the other 2 died because of natural reasons. There are reports that unusual events occurred during the filming of these 3 movies. It's unclear if it's the curse or true coincidence. Speaking about the plot, a poltergeist in folklore is about the spirits of dead people believed responsible for unexplained noises and movements in a house within a home. If you want to talk about a ghost story ahead of its time, Poltergeist is it. Number 3, The Others from 2001. A breathlessly told and richly atmospheric riff on the innocence, Alejandro Amenabar's The Others marries the eeriness of a classical haunted house story with the more immediate scares of a modern horror film. Nicole Kidman delivers one of the most brilliant performances of her career as Grace Stewart, a woman raising her 2 kids in a mansion on the misty British Isle of Jersey, while her husband is off fighting in World War II. It's a lonely place to be, and one made worse because both of Grace's children are afflicted with a rare disease that makes them allergic to sunlight, so it isn't much of a surprise when she begins to fear that the house is haunted. The Others is one of the best movies of its kind, even before it erupts into a plot twist, so satisfying that you want to watch the film over and over again. Number 2, The Blair Witch Project from 1999. October 1994. 3 filmmaking students disappear on the forested areas close Burkittsville, Maryland, when shooting a documentary. 1 year later, someone finds a recording after talking to a few locals about the Blair Witch. They go into the nearby woods to get a film areas related to the stories. They get lost, and every night horrendous things occur. While watching the movie, you're going to be in a continuous state of anxiety and fear, with heavy heart-beating moments between the scenes. The movie had set a new standard for camcorder psychological horror movies, which inspired other classics like the Paranormal Activity series and about 1,000 other found footage films, most of which weren't all that great. But still, it's debatable whether it's a ghost, it's a witch, so I'm going to call it ghost for the sake of this video. And number 1 is The Shining from 1980. Almost every haunted house movie seemed to have a scene in which the evilness of the building is touted in dramatic tones, but rarely does the actual evil live up to the legend. The Shining has no such letdown. Its iconic imagery, courtesy of legendary director Stanley Kubrick, will give you nightmares for years. So that wraps this one up. I want to hear from you. Post your top 10 greatest horror ghost story movies of all time in the comments below. Let me know which movies in my list you agree with and which ones you disagree with. Also, let me know what top 10 lists you'd like me to record. That's it for this episode. Make sure you like this video, make sure you share this video, make sure you subscribe, but most of all, make sure you keep it horror.